The sky above the video was the color of television tuned to a dead channel. This noir opening, with vague allusions to technology, can only mean one thing. It's time for a video on Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is all about breaking the mold and going against the mainstream, to rebel against the contemporary and blaze the trail ahead into the unknown. And the best way to embrace this message of rebellion is to follow the crowd and do what every other Cyberpunk author is doing. So boot up your hacking rig and get ready to write a Cyberpunk story. The best way to start a Cyberpunk story is by setting the tone. Cyberpunk always takes place in a dark dystopian future where giant megacorporations have finally defeated Adblock once and for all, and are now free to spam their neon color advertisements everywhere. Another key feature of Cyberpunk is how it explores the deep relationship between technology and humanity, by showing us how technology impacts society in many different ways, taking a nuanced view of humanity's dependence on technology and, haha, just kidding, it's all about how technology sucks. While a writer could use a cyberpunk story to explore the modern audience's apprehension of globalization and obsolescence due to automation, an even better idea is to water down our story with pretentious symbolism and gritty dark themes. This overwhelming focus on the negative aspects of futuristic technology and society should in no way be balanced by contrasting positive moments. If the audience hasn't walked away from a cyberpunk story feeling both depressed and that they wasted their time, then the writer isn't doing their job correctly. Audiences also love it when a writer shoehorns in pseudo-philosophical ramblings. I read Descartes' Wikipedia entry, so that makes me a deep philosopher, right? Now, just because our story's theme, symbolism, and overall message is that technology sucks, this should in no way make a writer hesitate to give our characters all kinds of awesome cybernetic implants that turn them into super-powered humans. This most definitely will not undermine our central thesis about how technology makes everyone miserable. Be sure to get completely lost in showing off all kinds of awesome but poorly thought out cybernetic powers. A single cybernetic arm will totally allow a person to lift a car without instantly snapping their spine. Now, some writers might be tempted to give their cybernetic abilities drawbacks in order to balance them and create interesting obstacles for our cyborg characters to overcome. Writers should resist this urge, as it might make our cyborgs less awesome. A good solution would be to say that overuse of cybernetics eats away at the very humanity of the characters, somehow. Not that even this arbitrary and vague limitation will ever come up in the story. We just need to create the illusion of a limitation and we are done. We could have our cyborgs be oppressed outcasts. It's only natural with their array of amazing and cool powers that cyborgs be shunned by society. Since when does anyone rush to embrace the latest technology and use it as a way to elevate their social status? Clearly, these cyborgs will inevitably be forced to live in the shady underbelly of society, probably along with the other dregs like criminals, beggars, and writers obsessed with self-promotion. Now that we have awesome cybernetic powers, we need someone to turn into a cyborg. We need characters. One standard cyberpunk protagonist is the detective. This character basically wandered in from a 50s noir film by accident, trench coat and all. He should hunt down androids because Harrison Ford made it look really cool. Our gruff anti-hero detective will never do any actual detective work because that requires me to actually look up how that works. Besides, I've watched a lot of Law & Order, so that should count. Don't stress over characterization either. Our detective anti-hero can be as bland as the color palette so long as we distract the audience with our pretentious symbolism. We can also have our protagonist be an amoral hacker. Our hacker will work his magic at the computer, spewing technobabble while typing super fast. Unlike real hacking, which mostly involves tricking bored customer service reps or digging through a company's garbage bins looking for passwords, Cyberpunk also has its share of robot, android, and AI characters. This is an opportunity to explore fascinating questions about the nature of androids, like are they sentient or even sapient? If they are programmed to feel, does that mean they really experience emotions? If they are sapient, do they deserve the same rights as a human? Do androids dream? Are they alive? Can I it? Unlike the human characters, androids should be vaguely sympathetic until they turn on the human creators because technology sucks and we can make a Frankenstein reference. Interesting and thought-provoking discussion on how humans relate to AI and robotics should be avoided. No need to show how a futuristic society would integrate AI into its economy, politics, military, and social structure. Having humans and AI grow together and learn to coexist in a symbiotic relationship sounds lame. Instead, we should project human emotions onto AI characters, even though a super intelligent AI would likely be completely alien in mindset. Also, make sure to get sapience and sentience mixed up, and even use those words interchangeably. These androids should be indistinguishable from humans, even if having a human form would impede their work. Let's give our androids full sapience, super strength, and then treat them like slaves. What could go wrong? At no point should their human masters consider making cheaper and simpler robots with basic programming too simplistic to consider rebelling. Nor should any human social movement form around giving androids full rights. I can't think of a single instance in the modern world where bored people on the internet champion the rights of minorities. Now, in working on the setting itself, there's only one true cyberpunk setting, and that's the dystopian megacity. This stock cyberpunk city is always a dystopia with a huge rift between economic classes. What lies beyond these massive sprawling cities? Well, if a writer does decide to show us what's going on in the rest of the world, then be sure to make a complete mess of the geopolitical situation. Just haphazardly throw borders together. Not that it matters, governments are usually atrophied in cyberpunk stories, with their functions long ago superseded by corrupt megacorporations. How this corrupt and painfully inefficient system sustains itself should never be brought up or explored. Thankfully, none of this would ever happen in real life. It's not like large corporations are stifling the rights of individuals in the interest of increasing profits. Next thing you know, large companies would start trademarking ridiculous things like the very term cyberpunk. But that would never happen.